Hi everyone, I hope you're all well. So the next topic that we're going to be looking at is algebra. So this is a topic that you have looked at the start of year 9. So it is a very important topic for your GCSEs, in particular your maths GCSE, as there are many questions directly on algebra and linked into other topics. So I know that there may be some of you there that are thinking, oh, I don't like algebra. But please give this a go. You must try and be comfortable with algebra, and we will be looking at it again. So the learning objectives for this lesson are to simplify expressions by collecting like terms and to simplify expressions involving negatives. Of which I'm sure that you're going to enjoy this lesson. Algebra is a lovely topic which I'm sure that you're going to find easier as it is your second time round studying it. So let's have a look. So firstly, we're going to have a look at a few definitions. So algebra uses letters. That's one thing that you should link. When I said the word algebra, you'd all probably remember that it's a load of letters then. And these letters are called variables, and they're used to represent unknown numbers. So you may see A, or you may see written X. Now remember that X is a curly X in algebra, because if you write an X like that, like you've seen before, that is a times sign. Okay, so in algebra, that's your times sign, and then to show your unknown, your term, then that is your curly X for algebra. Okay, or then you could have a variable T, any letter. Okay, so first of all, we're going to be looking at terms. So before we can look at anything else in algebra, we need to know what a term is. Okay, so a term is a collection of numbers, letters and brackets, all multiplied or divided together. Why is this doing? Also, terms are separated by a plus and minus sign. Okay, so for example, you may have a term like 2x, which I'll explain what this means in a moment. Okay, and then you may have minus 3y. Okay, so this year 2x is a term. Okay, and then this minus 3y is a term. And it's important to know that that sign there is glued to the front of this number here. So that's the minus 3 there, okay? And then this one here is a positive. Okay, so each term has either a positive or a minus attached to the front of it. So that's important to remember. And you can also have a term such as x squared, and then you might have plus 5x plus 4 minus 6y squared. Okay, and when terms are put together by mathematical operations, such as adding and subtracting like I just did, we get what is called an algebraic expression. Okay, so if I write an expression down here, so you just put terms down, so like 4x squared, so that would be a positive term. Then you might have minus 5x, that's another term, and another term, so for example plus 2y. So as we put terms together that are using mathematical operations, this is creating for us what we call an expression. Okay, so that expression there, if we look at 4x squared, what you have in between these here, there is an invisible times sign. In maths, we don't put the times sign there. Okay, so for example with minus 5x, here again is an invisible times sign. So that is minus 5 times x. Hopefully you remember this from before. Okay, and then here in between this plus 2y, there's that invisible times sign. So that means plus 2 times y. Okay. Now, for this lesson, we're going to be looking at simplifying algebraic expressions, and it's important to know what like terms are. So, algebraic terms that have the same letter, or then variables then, are called like terms. So if I write an expression, so for example, if we have 5x squared minus 3y plus 2x squared and plus 9y plus 3 plus y squared minus 4 minus y squared. Okay, quite a long expression there. So I'm going to try and bring together like terms. So if I look at this term here, which is 5x squared, okay, looking for the like term, which one has got the same letter? So that would be this one here, which is your plus 2x squared. So these two here, 5x squared and 2x squared, are like terms because they have the same letter. Okay, let's look at this one here then, which is minus 3y. You can see that the letter here is y. But when we look down here, this one here, we've got plus 9y. That is a like term to minus 3y because they both have just a y letter, and the power of that is 1. However, when we look then at this here, y squared, it does have the letter y in it. However, that squared makes it a different term to the y. Okay, so I use different shapes when circling and trying to put like terms together. So I've put a circle around my 5x squared and my 2x squared. They are like terms. Put a little box around the 3y minus 3y, and that's a like term with 9y. Okay, put a squiggle around y squared, so minus y squared would be a like term to that. And then here we have a number 3 and 4 would be like terms. So what we then do when we look at simplifying is we collect those like terms together. So as I just mentioned, we're looking at simplifying. So simplifying means to get an expression to its simplest form. Okay, similar to when we've simplified fractions in the past, what you do is you want that in its simplest form. This is a similar way of thinking with expressions then. So as I just said, when we simplify, what we do is we actually collect like terms together. So very simply then, let's look at this here. We've got an example which asks us to simplify a plus a. Now we should know that a and a are like terms because they are the same letter and in the same form. Okay, so let's describe what we have got here. We have got two a's. Okay, so when we add like terms, we describe what we have got. So here we have a plus a, two a's, so we write down 2a, and that would be our answer. Okay, so what I always try and think about is with simplifying, it's as easy as adding and subtracting, and think about maybe apples. So here we've got an apple and an apple. How many apples have you got? You've got 2 apples, so you write down 2a, and that's it. That's it, simplified. It's as easy as... Okay, let's look at the next example then. So here we are asked to simplify c plus c plus d plus d plus c plus b. Okay, so the way that we're going to do this is, firstly, let's describe what we have got here. Okay, so we've got 1b, which is here, remember that plus is joined to that b. We have got a c here, another plus c, and another plus c here. Notice how I've done a circle around the b, I've put little boxes around the c's, and then with the d's then I might do a little jagged circle here. So we've got a plus d and then a plus d here. Okay, so do different things for each like term then, and then it makes it easier when we come to collect them. Okay, so let's simplify this then. Okay, so let's think, if we thought about fruit or veg then, think about the fact that you've got a cucumber, add a cucumber, and another cucumber then. Okay, how many cucumbers have you got? You have got 3 cucumbers, which we'd write as 3c. Okay, then if you have got... okay, I can't think of a fruit or a veg that with D. If you've got a dog and another dog, how many dogs have you got altogether? That is 2 dogs, so you write down plus 2d. Okay, and then if we look at then this b that I've put a circle around, okay, that's the only b that's there. Okay, so then we'd write down plus b. And there's one b, okay? But notice how we instead here have written, instead of writing 1b, we just write b, okay? So this is standard notation. So for example, if you have 1x, okay, which means one lot of x, we would just write that as x, okay? Same thing if you had then a t, 1t, which means one lot of t, you would just write that as t. And similar then if you have a negative, you have minus 1 y, okay, you might see that then as just minus y. Okay, so that's the notation. And also what sometimes you may prefer to do is that we write these in alphabetical order. You get the marks for either of these, okay? So for both of these, you'd get the mark for simplifying. So you don't have to put them in alphabetical order, but you may like to. Okay, so if you now log into My Maths, you'll come to this page using the school username and password. Then click on My Portal. Now remember, you've all got your own individual username and password. And if you don't have these for any reason, please email me and I shall get those to you. So the one that I'd like you to do is called Simplifying. So it's here, it's level 5, and it's very similar to what we've just done. So if you want to go through the lesson to have some interactive exercises that mark for you, so for example here you'd write down the answer of 3a, working through it and it'll mark it straight away for you. So to practice, you can go through the lesson, or what I would like you to do is to complete the online homework, because this will be sent to your maths teacher so we can see how you got on with it. Okay, so work through this one here and then mark it, please. And then here is more of an extension question. So if you do find that difficult, that's fine. Just give it a go and then click mark it and we can see how you've done. Okay, good luck. I'm sure that you'll do really well with it. And remember, if we can help in any way, please email either myself or your maths teacher. Thank you. Diolch, ta-ra.